Hi FlossTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin and this is my channel, Lady Robins. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm really happy to have you here. This is a FlossTube channel. I talk about my cross stitching, so I hope cross stitch is what you want to hear about because that's what I'm going to talk about. If you're a returning friend and subscriber, welcome back. I'm just as happy to have you here. And in case you're interested, I am also on Instagram, same name, Lady Robins. So you can follow me on 2 social media platforms if you're interested. So guys, welcome. I am glancing around. I thought I'd left my mug of the day in the bathroom. I'm terrible about mugs being left in inappropriate spaces in the house. My family says they can follow my progression throughout the day because if I lose a mug, I just go get another one and I start again. So there's days when I can use 3 and 4 mugs. So the dishwasher is always full of these things. So anyway, here we are. This is my mug of the day and I thought it was a really appropriate one. This is Washington, D.C., but we are starting to have pink blossoms show up on the bushes here in the Pacific Northwest. So spring is coming. The cherry blossoms are going to be here before we know it. In fact, if I glance out of my window, the neighbor's tree is just filled with beautiful pink blossoms. So spring is coming. Well, actually, spring is here. The flowers are coming. I'm really excited. I like spring and summer. My favorite flower is a tulip. For all you tulip fans, yay, go tulips! So anyway, I am really happy to have spring. I don't like being cold. So winter is okay and snow is beautiful as long as I'm inside. I don't like to drive in it. So anyway, let's have a little beverage. It is, what time is it? I think it's about 11:30 this morning here in the Seattle area, and I'm just rocking and rolling already. I've done a load of laundry, cleaned the kitchen, had breakfast. So now it's time to sit down and chat with you. And I also have done my 25/7 stitching, so I'll show that to you as well. So brewed coffee in the mug. Let's have a drink and let's get going with the stitching. Okay, good. In case I forgot to mention that this is FlossTube, I'm checking my notes. It's FlossTube number 136. So yeah, it has been 2 weeks since my last update. I've got 2 fully finished objects to show you, and then of course my stitching on my whips, how my whip go is going, and then of course some plans, and then I do have some previous finishes for spring that I'm gonna scatter around the house today. So I thought I'd show you those since I just pulled them out and I haven't done the scattering yet. So should we start with, what do you think? Let's start with the previous finishes. How about that? That's always fun. So I have, I have got a little baggie here filled with previous finishes. Now I'm going to tell you right now, chances are slim that I'm going to know who all the designers are. So if you spot something in this parade of previous finishes and you're interested, reach out to me and I will let you know who it's by if I can find it. And I'm pretty sure I can because I have, as you know, I've got myself a stitch journal. This is by Chris Yo of As the Yo Flies. This is from her Etsy shop. I love this thing. I use it all the time to keep track of when I'm stitching. If I did any floss conversions, I write that in here. I think I showed this to you a couple of FlossTubes ago, but I'll show it again. I got one of those little teeny tiny cameras. I think it's a Canon is the one that I have. And so I have been adding pictures to my pages so I can see what they look like, especially if I gift them to somebody. It's really fun to have a visual record of those. So anyway, that's what I do to try to keep myself a little bit organized. So on to the previous finishes. Now, this one right here, this I know is by Helen D. This is one of her freebies. So I stitched this a couple of years ago and just made it into a pillow, cute little backing fabric. So we've got Easter bunny, colored eggs, jelly beans, and marshmallow peeps. Isn't that cute? So this is one of my favorites. This one, Friendship Grows, kind of a spring themed one. I know that this was a freebie and it might have been Lizzie Kate, but don't quote me on that. Again, if you need to know, reach out to me and I will go through my stitch journal and see if I can find it for you. This I think also was another freebie, Hello Spring. I think this was also a Lizzie Kate. So, yep, I think this was my first attempt at putting the, what do you call it? Rick rack. I think this was my first attempt on putting the rick rack on, and it's just okay, but it's good enough for a bowl stuffer, right? So I've got those, and then this one I love. This is from Brenda Gervais with a Needle and Thread, and this is part of her Jelly Bean Jubilee chart, which I think it's got 6 or maybe 7 pieces in it. So this is one of them, and there's, you know what, there's another one. I don't know where it got to, but there's another one riding around because I know I did 2 from that book, and I'd love to get back and maybe do one more. It's just adorable. Look at those bees. You guys, aren't those bees the cutest thing? I just love this one. So there's that one. And then I've got 2 spring berries that I did last year that look like this. This one says hop into spring. Look at that. Look at that bunny in there. Love that guy. And so this was inspired by Helen D., who had a year-long berry sal. And I will admit that I fell off the bandwagon. I have completed 2 berries, and you're looking at them. I have a summer berry stitched and it's not finished. So I need to finish that before summer hits this year. And I'd like to add a few more. So anyway, this one says spring has sprung. Spring has sprung. So there's this one with my cute little topper. So those are my previous spring finishes, which I am looking forward to, like I said, scattering around the house. I've got a bowl on my dining room table. It's pretty deep, so I put, you know, stuff in the bottom and then I put the cross stitch on top. I raise it to the top, right? So those are my previous spring finishes. And I have another finish, and it's not just a finish, it's an FFO. I FFO'd 2 things since my last FlossTube. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these, but I finished my Strawberry Fair piece by, is it October House? Yeah, October House. And so I just finished it into a little pillow. We have a cute little quilt store in downtown Des Moines, which is the next city over from me. And so I was able to pick up this adorable backing fabric. And so here's my take on the Strawberry Fair sal. So all done, nicely stuffed. I just do poly fill. I've tried walnut shells. For me, the pillow kind of sinks if I don't get it really nicely stuffed, and so I find the fiber fill works better for me with where I'm displaying these. So anyway, here we are. I did the Helen D conversion. So again, check out Helen's channel and you can get all the details on this, but this couldn't be cuter. So there is my first FFO, fully finished objects. If you're new here, acronyms are tough. I remember when I was a new FlossTuber, I tried Googling FFO. it didn't come up with anything that seemed appropriate for cross stitch. So anyway, FFO, fully finished object. So that's my FFO from the last 2 weeks. And then the other one is I finally finished my winter notes, got it put in the frame from Shepherd's Bush, and you can see my back. I'm a lacer, so I've got it all laced up in there. But if you're new to the notes patterns, these are all done by Shepherd's Bush, and they're not PDF, so you would have to call them or ask your local L&S to order these if you're interested. There's 14 of them, so there's one for every season, and then there's a ton for different holidays, and then there's some that are just, you know, cute themes. Like there's a bee themed one that my friend Lynn is stitching. It's adorable, so that's on my list for later this year. And so anyway, there is my FFO. I'll hold that a little closer, on winter notes. So this is coming down. This is going to go into the under the bed box, and all of the notes patterns have some sort of a little bead pack. So when you order the chart, make sure you get the bead pack as well. They're usually about $6 to $8 depending on how many bits there are, but that little cardinal charm or pin button bead is super cute. So that is my second FFO for the last 2 weeks. I was really happy. And then because oh, you guys, I found another little pillow stuffer. This was also a freebie. Here's another spring. So I don't know where that magically appeared from, but here you go. Isn't that cute? I love this fabric. So I thought, because I'm showing you previous finishes and I'm doing the Shepherd's Bush notes all year long, I have so winter notes makes the third one that I've finished. So I thought I would show you the other two, because I was having brunch with my family, and then my sister and brother-in-law came over, and so I was showing off to my brother-in-law. Here is Spooky Notes. So this is the Halloween themed one. And look at that frame. Like I said, you get these from Shepherd's Bush as well. They're $32. So as far as I can tell, you can't order them off their website. You just call them. I just call them up and say, you know, I need the frame for whichever notes I need. And so this is Spooky Notes. I mean, look at the skull and crossbones. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So anyway, there's Spooky Notes. That's my second notes finish. And then my third one is Merry Notes, the Christmas themed one. And let me show you that guy. Okay, and then that one looks like this. So there is Merry Notes, the Christmas themed one. And again, cute little buttons. That snowman is one of those polymer clay type buttons. So there's that one. So I have 3 done, and I was going to start spring notes on Monday, on the 20th of March, the first day of spring. I didn't get there. I actually didn't get any stitching done on Monday. Monday was just too busy. So hopefully sometime this week I will find a free moment so I can get started on my next Shepherd's Bush notes, which for me is going to be spring notes. So that is a whole lot of you know, finishes and previous finishes that I wanted to share with you. So that leads me into what I have stitched since last I saw you 2 weeks ago, and I only have three. I've been kind of sticking to the same 3, trying to make some progress. So the first one I wanted to show you is my 25/7 piece. And in case you're new to 25/7 stitching, You take the same piece, you stitch on it 7 days a week, or as close as you can get to that. I'm struggling to even get 5 days a week right now. But anyway, so you know, the goal is to stitch on the same piece 7 days a week. And then you decide what your 25 is. Is it 25 minutes or is it 25 stitches? Up to you. You make it work for you. So, Melanie Watkins has a Facebook group. I think it's called 25/7 Stitching Challenge. I think it's I usually have that linked in my show notes. So if you're looking for that group, double check the show notes. It should be in there. So anyway, I am stitching a Silver Creek Samplers. This is called Reaping Love. And so I'm doing this for my husband, and I am stitching it on a 32 count Nantucket Brew R&R linen, and I love this linen. It is really nice to stitch on. It's got enough body that I can stitch in hand. I like to stitch in hand, and so it's, you know, it's not too floppy and loose. So anyway, I am slowly working on that reaper, and I had to do unstitching yesterday for my 25/7. What happened was I had stitched down here, you know, this is charcoal, and I think that's I think that's a week's floss, and then this is just good old DMC 310. And so I kind of did the outline. I got all those 310 stitches in there, and then I kind of made my border of his I was gonna say cape. It's not a cape. What is that? Gown? I know that's not really what you'd call it, but anyway. So I got that all you know, kind of outlined and ready to go. And then in my head, I'm like, oh great, now I just have to do the fill-in. So I sat down and I doggedly filled in everything. And then my head went, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to see his funny little feet? Why, yes we are. So I filled in where the white should be for the feet. So yesterday I had to go in here and I had to unstitch all of this. The back of my piece is a holy nightmare. I am not going to show it to you. It's just awful. I mean, I'm cutting things and, you know, trying to figure out, you know, where did I stitch and what was my stitching path, and oh yikes, it was not fun. So anyway, he's back on track. So this morning for my 25/7, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get all the whites done, but I only got his face and his two little skeleton-y hands put in. So I'll work on the feet and the leg bones tomorrow when I do my 25/7 stitching. So I'm making progress. I'm also making slow progress because I had to do some unstitching. So dumb. I don't know where my head was. But oh well, it'll get done when it gets done. It's not a race, right? It's not a race. So that's my 25/7, and the other two things I stitched on were, one is my Whip Go. For Whip Go, I am working on Harbor Haven, and Harbor Haven was called twice on my Whip Go board. So I've got double Harbor Haven, but I'm making great progress. So let me show you where I'm at on Harbor Haven. So what I was able to do is I've completed scene 3. There are 12 charts in this. And so I've completed scene 3 and I got started on scene 4. Now I've decided, because again, like I've mentioned before, I stitch in hand, I'm not doing any of the back stitching or the long stitches until it's done, because I'm afraid I'll distort them. So if you're looking at, you know, at the chart and you're like, that's not done, Robin. It's like, I know. Thank you. I know. I'll get there. Don't panic. All right. So here is, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm the worst. When I'm done stitching, I pretty much drop the needle, and if I'm in the middle of a row, oh well. So here you can see, well, here I'll show you the whole thing. So here is scenes 1, 2, and 3 completed. So you've seen 1 and 2 a number of times, and then 3 is right here. And then 4, I got a big chunk of 4 done. So yeah, I'm really happy with my progress on that. So I just have to finish kind of the sandy land here, and then I'll bring the water across. And that watercolor, just, I love it. It's so yummy. I love stitching with those. So that's where I am on Double Harbor Haven, and it's just so much fun. I just love it. The nice thing about these charts is there are big areas where you're doing fill-in, and it's fantastic. It is just fantastic. So you know, some of these areas, you know, they take a little bit of time, but you don't really have to, you know, keep consulting the chart after every row, because, you know, you're just, you know, I got 6 rows and I go all the way across. And so, yeah, it stitches up really great. And I am doing all the DMC except for the water. The water I changed to 2 over dyed flosses, which I've said before. And then this is, I'm stitching it on 32 count. This is a week's, this is the old week, so it's kind of floppy and loose, but it's okay. It was the perfect color. This is what I wanted. It was called Seafoam. It is called Seafoam. And I just love it. I love everything about this. So having a blast on that. And yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot me a comment, and I will try to answer for you. Okay, so that's where I'm at on Whip Go, and I'm curious what my Whip Go calls are going to be for April. I'm already thinking, ooh, what's coming up for April, because that's so much fun. And then the other thing that I am stitching on is my dad's Lighthouse. So I am working on Boston Light by the Primitive Hare, and this one is deceptively big. There's a lot of open space, but there's also there's tons of stitching in here. So I have almost finished the land. So I just have this little bit to do right down here. And you'll notice that I'm doing something that I hardly ever do anymore, is I put this thing on scroll rods, because there are some, and you can even see them, there are some creases in the linen that I just cannot iron out. But when I stitch on it and I pull it really taut, they do disappear. So I feel confident that when I frame it, it's going to be fine. So when I stitch it, I get my little, you know, elastic binder clips, put it on the edge. I get it nice and firm, and that way I know that it is not going to be warped, and it's working out great. So that is what I'm doing. Like I've said before, I'm working on this for my dad, and yeah, dad's making us all nervous because he fell on Saturday, and I mean, it doesn't sound very nice, but you know, you kind of have to have a sense of humor about this stuff. But he didn't break anything. This is like the 4th fall my dad has had, and we just keep thinking bumbles bounce. and he's not very padded. He's, you know, he's kind of a tall, skinny guy. But anyway, he gave himself, you know, a pretty good bruise on the back of his head. His eyes are tracking together, so he doesn't have a concussion. And then he you know, he got a cut. So, you know, those head wounds, they, you know, bleed like the dickens. I mean, you know, looked like he'd been part of a murder scene. So anyway, yeah. So I kind of feel like, you know, I kind of feel anxious that I've got to stitch faster because, you know, one fall and he's, you know, he breaks a hip and then he's in the hospital and then he'll never see it or remember that I did it. So I am spending quite a bit of time on Boston Light because, you know, Dad deserves to have it for a while. So anyway, that's where we're at on my stitching. I want to shout out some new floss tubers to me. It doesn't mean they're brand new. It means they're just ones that I have stumbled on. What's really fun is now that, you know, I'm kind of going off of just the regular folks that I watch, I'm getting lots of recommendations. So, brand new, this one is brand new, the Northwoods Stitcher. She is very fun. She has five videos up, and I haven't had a chance to watch the 4 and 5 yet, but they came up in my feed. So anyway, she's really fun, and I love. She doesn't have a, what does she call it? She doesn't call it like a kitted up, or she calls it a wanna do list. Which I think is brilliant. So she pulls up her wanna do's one at a time. She had one video where she had lots of mill hills that she wants to do, and so it was really fun. So if you have not watched the Northwoods Stitcher, I would highly recommend her. So she's a lot of fun. Another one, now this gal has been around for a while, and again, you know, I'm just getting recommendations. So I watched Karen Combs Studio, and boy, was that a delight. Boy, did I enjoy that. I need to go back. I don't even know how many she's got, but she is not a new floss tuber, but if you haven't watched her, I would highly recommend. And then a series that I've heard about, but I just haven't sat down and made it a priority, but Needle and Flax is doing a First Ladies series. So I have watched the introduction, her kind of idea behind the series. So I've watched that, and I'm ready to watch the first episode. And I think the first episode is on Martha Washington, I think. So if you haven't seen that, again, highly recommend. Go check that out. It looks like it's going to be really, really good, and she has a number of them already up. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm playing catch up on my FlossTube. But anyway, I thought I'd tell you about those. Another thing I want to make sure I mention. I want to try to do this a little bit earlier. For the Pacific Northwest Stitchers, the Greater Seattle area group that meets over in Tukwila, just north of the airport, we have already picked the date for our April stitching meetup. It is going to be Sunday, the 16th of April, and we stitch from 12:30 to 5 p.m. 12:30 to 5 p.m. So if you are not a member of the Pacific Northwest Stitchers Facebook group, go do that, because all of the details are in there. Gives you the address and how to get access to the community room where we stitch. So go and do that. And then the last thing, I'm reading a newer book. You know, it's been out for a while, but I just haven't gotten to it. I'm reading ooh, that's glary. I am reading Cursed by Marissa Mayer. If you like fairy tales reimagined, Marissa Mayer might be an author for you. I love reimagined fairy tales. So this is a new take on the Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale. So as you can see, I'm only like 2 chapters in, but already it's grabbed my interest. So if you need to read, you might try Cursed by Marissa Mayer. You guys, that's it. That's all I've got for you. A real quick little, you know, in and out this time. I think it's just because I am concentrating on, you know, fewer pieces, but that's okay. That's okay. All stitching is good stitching, right? Even unstitching, kind of. So I hope you're having a really great stitchy couple of weeks. We have got beautiful sunshine outside, so I am probably gonna, you know, pretend I'm gonna go for a walk and just go in the mailbox. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Stitch happy, my friends. Shoot me any questions or comments you've got. I'm always happy to make a connection with you, and I will see you again probably in 2 weeks. All right, bye friends.